Hello guys, gals, gamers, Nintendo fans. Everyone take a deep breath. It's time to talk about Nintendo Switch Online. Now for starters, I knew the paid online service was coming. Because, well, I'd watched the January 2017 Direct, so I knew that it was coming, but I was like, yeah, whatever, so I wasn't really upset or anything. Um, the thing that I think a lot of people are, well, mad about or whatever is that it's not the money, it's the lack of what they're offering. That's why it's so cheap. It's only $20 a year because they're really not offering you much. And funny thing, I will say this though, Super Mario Maker 2, when that comes out, that might be the deal breaker for me. That might be what makes me get the service because, well, for one thing, if you buy the $70 bundle, you're basically getting a 1-year subscription. So you're basically getting like $10 off of a 1-year subscription, which is a pretty good deal. But that being said, and I did do the week trial. Which I'll talk about more in the video, to try out the service and whatnot. But the thing is, they need to offer a lot more if they want more people to sign up for this service and this subscription. Which E3 is next week, I believe. So or whatever. I don't really watch E3, so I just watch trailers and stuff. But with E3 coming up, we'll just put it that way. Hopefully, they will announce some new features to help it appeal to more people. And these are just a few ideas that I personally have that, just kind of throwing it out there, to spread the word around. The first one is friend messaging, because it's like you have all these friends on your Switch, but there's like no way to communicate with them, like I just like, and a funny thing about this was one person who was actually trying to justify this was that they said, oh, but you could do that on like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and I was just like, it was like, okay, so by your logic, you're saying that, like, if, say I played Smash Brothers with somebody, they sent me a friend request, I have to try and find them on, like, Facebook or whatever, just to message them about something like, well, oh, what did you think of the Nintendo Direct? Or are you going to get the new Donkey Kong game? That makes no sense. Like, why is it not... I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely something to be added. The second thing, proper voice chat, which, to be honest, I don't really use voice chat, but it's still a mandatory thing with online gaming. And the fact that you have to, like, download an app and then on your phone, and then you plug in your phone, it's a mess. And I know there's like ways around this. People talk about like the whole Discord and thing. It's like, but why do you have to do all that? What's wrong with just plugging the headset into the controller or the system itself, which is possible because it works with Fortnite, which, again, I don't really play Fortnite. I mean, I've played it. It's not my cup of tea, but the point is that it can work. So, like, why not? Why is that not a thing? But, and where was I? And I know people, like, use the argument that it's like, oh, but I don't want to listen to some, like, 8-year-old roaster me, and I think that's what the mute button is for. Hell, I was literally just playing a game online, and it's like, somebody was, like I said, I wasn't using the voice chat or headset, but somebody else was, and they were being kind of, like, annoying. They just had, like, the system, like, I don't even know, they weren't even talking to it, they just had it, like it almost sounded like it was next to a furnace or something. It was just like this noise, like, brrr, and I'm like, okay, that's a little annoying and distracting, so mute. That's all you gotta do. The next thing, this is a bit of a stretch because some people liked it, some people didn't. I honestly think they should bring back Miiverse. If you're unfamiliar with Miiverse, it was a feature on the Wii U and 3DS, kind of like Twitter. Twitter mixed with PictoChat. And there was communities for all these different games, and then like, different apps and stuff that you could talk about them with people, like, and you could even draw pictures and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. There was some pretty talented artists on there. It was a neat little feature. You could draw you could do screenshots of, like, show off your high score or things like that, or it was just a neat little way of interacting with gamers, like, in these communities and stuff. Like, I mean, granted, there's other sites and stuff you could do that, but that's beside the point. And you could, help each other out with things, how I help people out with, if they were stumped in a game and stuff. The only... Now, Miiverse definitely had its flaws. Probably the biggest one was that you couldn't advertise on there, because, like if you said you had a YouTube channel or a online business or something, you're like, oh, good, I could advertise this on here to kind of, like, boost my traffic or whatever. But they're like, nope, that's personal information. Like, if you wrote a thing on... And there's literally a YouTube community on Miiverse, which is why I do not get this at all. If you wrote on there, like, really in the YouTube community, you said, like, hey, come check out my channel, whatchamacallit, I talk about gaming and stuff, or, hey, if you want to, I'm going to be streaming said game if anybody wants to watch. They acted like you were giving out your address. What? I mean, like, I understand there's, like, little kids on there, but it's, so if somebody dropped, like, a link to a porn site or something, that, yeah, that's, shouldn't be allowed, but why, you're just telling them about, well, like, YouTube or something, you're not giving them, like, I don't know. The next one, I know this is something that this whole retro streaming game thing, the whole NES like thing on there, which obviously took the place of the Virtual Console. I'm gonna be honest with you, because this is one of the things I tried when I played when I had the Switch online demo thing. Part of me slightly, very slightly, actually likes this better than the Virtual Console. Let me explain. The Virtual Console, there was times where, between Wii U, and 3DS, the Virtual Console, there was times when I was like, oh, this game looks or sounds cool, I would buy it, and it would suck. Or it just wasn't for me or something, so I just wasted money. With this, because you're basically streaming the games, or renting them, it's kind of nice in a way, because you're, instead of buying them, I know you're not buying them digitally, you don't own them, you just rent them, but it's like, think of it like Blockbuster, those Friday afternoons when you go to Blockbuster, you rent a game, and it sucked, it ruined your whole weekend, like, ruins your weekend, but at the same time, it was kind of a relief, because it was like, well, at least I only rented the game for a few bucks instead of buying it for $60 or whatever, and now I'm stuck with it, and even if I sell it, I'm not going to get all my money back. So that's kind of like one of the positive things about this. However, Virtual Console had way more. I'm not going to do like this system had this system had that. I'm just going to go overall with the Wii, Wii U, and 3DS. All the systems that were on there were NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, N64, DS, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, TurboGrafx 16, and there might have been like a couple more, but that's over 10 systems. And on top of that, they would release new ones like every week or so. So why is it like... supposedly they are coming. Like, they're going to be doing more games like Super Nintendo and stuff, but it's like, you need to do more than just a couple of games every month. I think what they should do is do it a couple of new games every week, and then rotate through their system. So, basically, like this week, drop a couple of NES games, or add them, so to speak. The next week, a couple of Game Boy or Game Boy Color games. The following week, Super Nintendo games. The week after that, N64 games. The week after that, Game Boy Advance games. And then GameCube's kind of a gray area. It's hard to say if that'll work or not. So so at that point, just go back to NES games and then just keep the cycle going. And hell, if you can get Sega on board, put some of their system games back in there, like Master System and Genesis and stuff. Just a thought. Now, the last thing, dedicated servers. Now, the thing with... We'll just use Smash Brothers. Since that's the most notorious. And I hate to say anything bad about Sakurai, because the poor guy is working himself to death. I honestly think he should delay development of the other DLC characters so he could take some time off. But when I played Smash Brothers Online, it was probably 1 in every 3 matches that I ran into lag. And in some cases, it was really bad. So, but the fact that it's only a small case with me, it's like, okay, so my internet's obviously fine. It's probably the people I'm playing with. But if there was dedicated servers instead of the friggin' peer-to-peer, I think we wouldn't run into this problem as much. Because you're trying to connect these systems together, and if it's like a bad connection, or I don't know, if they have bad internet, it's just This is the problem we run into. And again, like Smash Brothers especially, like these first-party titles, especially these big ones like Smash Brothers, were sold over 10 million units in just a month. Like, how does this game not have dedicated servers? Why is it peer-to-peer? Why do these first-party titles not have dedicated servers? And the only thing I can think of is because it's cheaper. Like, it's literally just penny pinching. But it's like, Nintendo, you're such a huge company. Why do you need to pinch pennies? Look at how well the Switch is selling, and how much money does this company have? Why are you... I don't know. Like, why... What... Like I said, not everyone has this problem with lag, but it's, it's still fairly common. I mean, I've seen people say they have their Switch plugged into their modem, and they still run into lag. And like I said, for me, it was only one every couple of matches, but if they had dedicated servers, we would have zero lag. So, yeah. Now that I got that off my chest, what are some ideas that you guys have that you think would make the Switch's online more appealing, that you would help it grow its audience or subscription base? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. But as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.